It's Toby from Heavyweight MMA today with David the Smiling Assassin Martinez on the eve of his fight next weekend against Kieran Joblin on Eternal, bro. How are you feeling?
Fantastic, man. I'm looking forward to this one.
Man, just looking at you, look a little bit pasty. Is it the end of a hard training slog over the last few months?
No, man, I just got back from another training session with Jimmy, and like the man's leaving me absolutely drained.
Yeah. At what point do you actually cut back in your camps, man? Like when will you cut back to just light training?
Yeah, typically from Monday onwards, or probably taper it down leading into the fight.
Is that a hard thing, man? Like you've been going hard and then you got to kind of back off. Is it hard for you to kind of back off? Like do you feel like less of a fighter when you have to back off and just take it easy, or you appreciate it?
Man, psychologically speaking, us fighters are very weird people. But yeah, I think for us, it's kind of like, oh, I should just keep training as I normally do.
Yeah.
Back off. No, we're told to push, and when it hurts, push some more.
That's it, man. It can be a difficult little change, right? Hey, bro. So fighting against Kieran Joblin, man, he's quite a well-known He's been fighting a long time, especially out of New Zealand. Held a lot of titles and that. Also coming from CKB, obviously they're pretty renowned these days with their success in the UFC. How do you find him as an opponent, man? Like, what do you feel when they say you're fighting Kieran Joblin?
And Kieran Joblin's a name that it gets me pumped. It gets me excited. He's one of the OGs from around early in the circuit, and went off, I think, at One Warrior Series for a bit, but he's come back, and I'm like, yeah, it's a name that I've wanted to fight for a long time, and the fact that I'm actually getting to do it now, and it's only a week away, it's incredible.
Yeah, man, it's good, and both the obviously looking for victory as you would, but even more so, like Kieran wants to, take the next step, get up to an Australian title, and then move up from there. You obviously would want to regain your title again. So this fight's kind of important to both of you guys, right?
Yeah, well, every fight's important, man. And I don't, you should never go into a fight without trying to actually, win it.
Yeah.
Type thing. Or, I mean, fair enough. Some fighters just take fights for the money. But that aside, we're both looking to come out on top and both looking to go after the title.
And how do you think your skills match up against each other?
It's interesting, man. We are in some ways we're very different, but in other ways we're very much the same kind of fighter. We're both grindy, rely a lot on our grappling, and have serviceable striking to initiate the grappling exchanges. It's very interesting how our styles kind of match up.
Man, I was just thinking before when I was waiting, when I'm talking to the UFC guys, I often say there's no easy fights in the UFC, but that's also true on the local circuit when you get to the top end, right? Because you're kind of looking at guys that are almost UFC level anyway. So you guys at that level, when you're looking around title contention, you're fighting hard guys no matter what fight it is, right? In Eternal especially.
Yes, yeah, man. The Eternal lightweight division is crazy. Lightweight is probably the most stacked division across the board, but in the Eternal ones, just especially around that title picture, you're either fighting for the belt, defending it, or trying to smash into one of the contenders, trying to get your shot type thing, and just bouncing back and forth between absolute killers.
That's it, man. And speaking of bouncing back, man, you had a loss to Blake Donnelly back in March, I believe. How's it feel, man? And how have you recovered, mentally and all that?
Yeah, well, losing's always a disappointing thing, man. And when you lose by a cut, there's something about it just doesn't feel does that really count? But it is what it is, man. Like anything, you just you take what you can from it, and then you move on.
And then talking about it bouncing backwards and forwards, Blake's gone and lost to Quillan Salkilld as well. So is he the new target for you, man?
Yeah, Quillan, whoever's got the belt is the target. But let's Let's be clear about that. But I got to say, I agree with Aiden Aguilera when he said that freaking belt is cursed.
Yeah.
Like, let's go through, like, way back. So I beat Mumford for the title. I go on to lose to Josh Togo, ending like my 15-fight winning streak. Togo slips over, loses to Dan Hill. Dan Hill gets probably illegally kneed by Jack Becker, but wasn't called, so he loses the title. Jack breaks his leg. Aiden does his ribs in. I get cut, and now Blake Donnelly gets starched in 30 seconds. Like, bro.
Yeah. Let's see the next time. When Quillan fights again, we'll be able to see if it is truly a curse. It's kind of funny. Man, how's the Gym Ignite martial arts? How are you going over there?
Oh, things are doing good, man. Like, the team seems to be fighting regularly, so people are always in the gym training for their up and coming fights. And it's nice to see, like, all the fighters who, even if they don't have fights coming up, they're just in there training and enjoying themselves. Like, one guy in particular, man, like Jimmy O'Brien, like, he was fighting, but then his fight fell through. But man, he's been there almost every day for me, and people like him just make the gym what it is.
Yeah, that's it, man. It's a funny thing, right? We think of it as an individual sport, but it's not an individual sport really, because so many people need to be involved for people to be successful, right?
Yes.
That's it, man. Hey, anything new that you've added to your fight prep lately, man? Any up changes, any new skills or anything you've been working on?
Man, just been sort of like this time around. I've stayed up in Queensland, around the Sunshine Coast area, just done my training being up there, just trying to really connect with my guys up here. Normally I would go down to visit Freestyle for a couple of weeks, and I really like doing that. But I recently started a job doing nightfill, and it's kind of hard to get away for any length of time now.
Yeah, man, you mentioned nightfill, I think, in our last interview that that the money wasn't too bad. How do you find the balance though, like coming up for a fight, balancing that job as well as working in the gym pretty much? Like how does it feel?
Yeah, I feel like the nightfield job is sort of like the perfect mix, at least for me, because I get the day to do my training. I can fit my 2 sessions in, and then I just go off and do a couple hours of work, and it keeps the pockets filled and fuel in the car. So
that's it, man.
Can't complain.
It actually reminds me, when I was a young fella, I used to work, they called it logistics, but it was unloading trucks that came into this shop, and then you just filter out all the goods, and now I go train like all afternoon and that. So it worked okay, but that was only amateur level. So it's a bit different from you. You're fighting killers, man. Man, on your preparation, do you tend to focus on yourself, or do you focus on a game plan for your opponents, or kind of a mixture?
I always start off with the idea of focusing on a game plan around the opponent, but then, and I find I'm never too sure about that. It seems like everyone I fight, it's either hard to get footage of them specifically, or they haven't fought or in a bit. And so anything could be possible. Like, they could be completely different when they come out. I found that, like, sometimes I focus on things too much, and then when I go and fight, like, the person doesn't move at all like I was expecting them to, and so I end up caught off guard. So this time I've been a bit more focused on myself.
Yeah, man. And that's something that's true with Kieran, right? Like, he's disappeared a couple of times. He's got a couple of periods where he wasn't fighting much, and then he's been training at CKB too. So he's probably picking up a lot of the different stylistic things from those guys, right? But you can't be sure.
Yeah. Well, that's it, man. Like, because he's been training the last 2 years at CKB, and with people like Dan Hooker, Sanya, and all that. Like, I struggle to imagine that he hasn't picked up any like new skills or weapons to use, but as to what exactly they would be, like, I guess this is as good as mine. And so on Saturday, I'm going to have to take some time to find out.
That's it, man. Hey, one thing I appreciate, I had a chat with Kieran and yourself. You're both like quite respectable and quite respectful to each other in your comments. It's a kind of good way to be, I think, you know, rather than, you know, a couple of fights ago, you had a bit of stuff between you guys. But yeah, this is a nice, just respectable testing your skills against each other. May the best man win type of fight, right?
Yeah. Well, I think Kieran carries himself pretty well, man. And I respect that. And I respect him as a fighter and as a person.
So, man, on that, you're fighting July 1st, Eternal on the Gold Coast, fighting against Kieran Joblin. What is your prediction?
Prediction? I'm staying away from predictions, man. I'm going out there. I'm taking the fight to him. May the best man win.
Sounds like a plan, brother. So what are you looking forward to in 2023, 2024? What's an ideal world for you in fighting?
I take the philosophy that nothing exists beyond the next fight.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, the eve of July 1st is where my life extends up to. I'll worry about everything else once that date has passed.
Sounds like a plan. Also, man, just while I was waiting, I was looking at the like top 15 UFC fighters. If you just a mystery match, if you just had a chance that you could fight any of them, who would it be?
Oh, mate. If we're talking UFC, it'd be Justin Gaethje.
Yeah. I think you mentioned that a while back, right? That'd be a banger.
Yeah. I just think like it'd be so sick to have a fight with that guy.
Yeah, true. He hits hard though, brother.
Oh, mate, it's absolutely terrifying. Yeah, but like, what an experience too.
Yeah. Man, so anyway, that's all I had for you today. Thanks very much for your time. Looking forward to the fight this weekend. Probably more so than a few of the fights that I've been watching lately. So, yeah, can't wait to see it, man. Best of luck to both of you. Like I said, may the best man win. I hope to see a good display from both of you, and we'll talk afterwards sometime.
Heck yeah. Thank you for having me, brother.
No worries. Thanks for your time, man.